तिलक लगा के मिट्टी का तू बाजी आज लगा ले, ओ तिलक लगा के मिट्टी का तू बाजी आज लगा ले। तुझ में जो चिंगारी है उस शोला आज बना ले। जान लगा के खेल खिलाड़ी, ओ जान लगा के खेल खिलाड़ी, साथ हमेशा स्पोर्ट्स इंडी। शान बढ़ा तू रहे अगाड़ी, जीत की भाषा स्पोर्ट्स इंडी। क्रिकेट अपनी नस नस में और नस्लों में बहता है, सारे जहां में खेल हमारा अव्वल कहलाता है। बैडमिंटन हो या टेनिस हो सबसे आगे हम हैं, बड़े शान से लहराता अपना ही परचम है। तुझ में है वो बात अनूठी, हो तुझ में है वो बात अनूठी, साथ हमेशा स्पोर्ट्स इंडी। जान लगा के खेल खिलाड़ी, जीत की भाषा स्पोर्ट्स इंडी। तीरंदाजी, तलवारबाजी, घुड़सवारी, कुश्ती, खो-खो, फुटबॉल, कबड्डी, हॉकी देते हैं चुस्ती। दौड़ बैटन दौड़ और भाला फेंक मलखम, शतरंजी तू बुद्धिमानी है तुझ में 10 का दम। तू तपा हुआ लोहा फौलादी, तू तपा हुआ लोहा फौलादी, साथ हमेशा स्पोर्ट्स इंडी। जान लगा के खेल खिलाड़ी, जीत की भाषा स्पोर्ट्स इंडी। हुड़दंग मचा तू रंग चढ़ा, सब देखे हक्का पक्का, तू हट्टा कट्टा है जिगरा, हर मुश्किल को दे मुक्का। हार हुई तो टूट न जाना, फिर से तू उम्मीद जगाना, मुट्ठी में तू बांध हौसला, हार को राह नहीं दिखाना। तू खींच के ला तू जीत की झंडी, अरे खींच के ला तू जीत की झंडी, साथ हमेशा स्पोर्ट्स इंडी। जान लगा के खेल खिलाड़ी, जीत की भाषा स्पोर्ट्स इंडी। शान बढ़ा तू रहे अगाड़ी, जीत की भाषा स्पोर्ट्स इंडी। जान लगा के खेल खिलाड़ी, जीत की भाषा स्पोर्ट्स इंडी, जीत की भाषा स्पोर्ट्स इंडी।
Good afternoon, friends. Okay. I am Bhavarth from Sports Indie. I would like to introduce Mrs. Supriya Badve ma'am, founder and CEO of Sports Indie. And I would like to thank her first to initiate such a wonderful idea. I would like to hand over this program to Mrs. Supriya Badve. Thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to second webinar of Sports Indie. I will just like to introduce the concept of Sports Indie with all of you. Sports Indie is online sports hub and is a social platform that focuses on bringing sport enthusiasts together. We provide platform for talent. We bring together unique thinking, insight, and deep understanding of how people can engage in sports. It is a community of sports lovers that celebrates the hidden sports spirit in every individual. A vision that imbibes sportsmanship and a mission to make it easier for the sports lover to find facilities, awareness, experiences, social interaction, making it easy to promote sports globally. Sports offer us some of the greatest moments of history and sometimes some of the greatest moments of our lives. Probably because sports has an inherent drama, it grabs our attention and keeps us waiting for more. We all have that one favorite player, one hero, and one favorite game, and one favorite team too. I started Sports Indie, the online sports hub, with an aim to connect people through sports. We all connect through entertainment, festivities, and celebration, but nothing unifies the country and sometimes the globe like rooting for that one Olympic athlete or that one IPL team. At Sports Indie, a sport is at heart of everything we do. Along with my team, I have created a platform that allows players to connect with professionals, the fitness conscious mindset to connect with fitness communities and sport enthusiasts, and also to connect with sports lovers. We want to create a sports community that supports, encourages, and entertains everyone. If you have a story to share of your unsung hero, we are here. Your story might be just an inspiration to someone who is looking for. The great advantage of sports is that they combine exercise with thrill, excitement, and sensation. In order that we really take exercise, it should be made interesting. As everybody knows, practically all kinds of games devised by man possesses a certain degree of interest. So in India also, we should take measures and the conditions should be made favorable in such a way that more and more youngsters are motivated towards entering and excelling in sports. But yes, we cannot forget the legends of our nations who have won medals and most important represented us in the Olympics, and at every level has sustained the moral of winning. And we have Indians are proud of our rich varied heritage that is being involved as a learning, and winning is a continuous process. So I just want to share with you one thing. Now government has came up with this new education policy wherein more importance is given on skill development. So maybe we can just think from other aspect as a sports, how people will take sports as a career, and how we all can motivate our sports players and young generation to take sports as a career. So I just want to congratulate this for this new policy to Government of India. So do visit our website www.sportsindie.com. We have stories of many young and enthusiastic sports player on our YouTube channel too. So we all want to build a strong sports community. Wish you all sports lovers and players a best wishes from Sports Indie. Join us on our journey to discover the magic of sports and ignite the spirit of sports in one and all. Thank you for listening. I will hand over now to Mr. Bhavarth Dekhani. Bhavarth? Bhavarth?
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for such a wonderful welcome. Namaste. I welcome you all in this webinar on sports fitness psychology. Today we have all eminent personalities with us from field of sports. They all are going to share their experiences with us. Again, I also welcome Mrs. Supriya Badwe, founder and CEO of Sports Indy, for initiating such a wonderful idea. Some of you might be thinking that what is the connection of sports fitness with psychology, right? Friends, I would like to tell you that psychology plays very important role in sports. How? Again, a big question. This is what we are going to see in today's session. There are many good movies created on successful sports personalities like Mahendra Singh Dhoni, then Milkha Singh, Mary Kom, Sachin Tendulkar. We all know their stories. We all know them. Their game is excellent. Their game was excellent. Their fitness level is up to the mark. But when did they achieve the real success is the real question in front of us. It wasn't only the fitness or a practice, but some X factor which triggered their urge to be at the top. Something was there which highly motivated them. That's something which controls the mind, emotions, along with the body. And I would like to tell you that that something is nothing but the psychology. This psychology plays an important role in success. So taking this ahead, we would initiate this conversation based on fitness and psychology. Before going ahead, there are many eminent scholars in field of sports who are participating in this webinar today. So I would like my technical team to present a presentation of their introduction in front of all the viewers.
Hello. Today in this second webinar of Sports Indy, I want to welcome our guest, the eminent speakers and the eminent personalities from all fields of sports. I just want to introduce our today's guest, the diamonds in their respective fields. So first, I want to welcome Dr. Mustapha Topiwala. You might be seeing over here a bouquet with along with the photo of Mr. Mustapha. The concept behind is that we are just meeting virtually. So in actually social gathering, we offer bouquet while welcoming the guest. So here we are presenting virtual bouquet to our guests today. Next, Aditya. Yeah. So Dr. Mustapha is a physiotherapist from Chennai, specialization in sports rehabilitation, and currently pursuing post-graduation in osteopathy from College of Ontario. Having an experience of more than 13 years in the field of physiotherapy and sports rehabilitation work with many esteemed organizations like Cricket Club of India, Pro Sports, Pro Kabaddi Team, etc. Currently managing partner Dr. Pimpalkar Sports Med Rehab. Making first Ironman of Nasik, Mr. Amar Miyaji trained the youngest Asian from Ironman, Raviza Singhal, privileged to train Mr. Singhal sir and made him the first IPS officer to complete Ironman. Currently training 5 clients for full Ironman, training India's first athlete who is attempting Decca UK 10 times, includes 40 kilometers swimming, 1008 kilometers cycling, and 425 kilometers running in 10 days. Oh my God, really means like Ironman is the most of the toughest play or sports, as we can say. The activities involved for becoming Ironman is mentioned over here, and I also made few Ironmans in last few years. Really, the journey is amazing. So thanks, Dr. Mustapha, for being a part of this today's session. Then training ultra endurance runners who are participating in 12 hours run and planning to achieve 120 kilometers. Chief physio of US Sports Football and Umba Pro Kabaddi team 2018 and 19. We all know that Pro Kabaddi is like, it is getting very viral as on today, and people are taking very much interest in Pro Kabaddi games. So, and it is now acknowledged by the world that Indian game Kabaddi is becoming a very famous throughout the world. Trained many of high altitude expeditions like Mr. Everest, etc., and achieved success in the form of Mahajan Brothers and many. Trained various athletes who have excelled in national and international competitive sports events. Associated with Nasik City Police Marathon as a fitness and injury prevention partner from last 3 years. Associated with Nasik Cyclist Foundation and Team E3 as a fitness partners and conditioning coach for last 3 years. Thank you, Dr. Mustafa, for being part of today's webinar. Next, I will welcome Mrs. Snigdha Gupta. Welcome. I offer you virtual bouquet and welcome you to this webinar. She is NLP life coach, counselor, therapist, and emotional wellness and mental health trainer. She is an NLP master practitioner, a master trainer, and uses NLP for applications in real life, like removal of depression, anxiety, panic attacks, all types of fear, phobias, addiction to all types like smoking, excessive drinking, chronic alcoholism, gaming, social media, excessive corporate stress, relationship issues, marital and extramarital issues. So NLP is neuro-linguistic program, which she will explain you properly. She is also qualified hypnotherapist, past life regression therapist, life coach for emotional wellness. She loves being able to share alternate therapy and counseling skills that enable real and rapid transformations. She has 14 years of successful business experience in IT. She has done MBA from Symbiosis Institute of Business Management, Pune. Wow, very nice to learn about you, Snigdha ma'am, and very warm welcome to you for this webinar. Total experience of 25 years, she has personally touched the lives of lots of people with live and online interventions all over the world using live video conferencing, WhatsApp, Zoom, Google, Duo, Skype, etc. So really now in the time of Corona and COVID, yes, the digital platform has given us a different dimension to connect with people, and from Snigdha ma'am's how she is doing her business. Very nice to see. Her experiences comes through with being able to access a situation rapidly and use the appropriate skills to enable an effective breakthrough within a session of 90 minutes itself. Our third guest today is Dr. Sandeep Chowdhury. We all know Pune is famous for this Balewadi Stadium, and Dr. Sandeep Chowdhury is a person associated with Balewadi Stadium, and he is a fitness and physiotherapy coach for all players associated with Balewadi. We all know the government has initiated Khelo India, and we are proud to share over here that he is a fitness coach for this Khelo India too. Next. So I just want to introduce Dr. Sandeep Chowdhury. He is currently working as sports physiotherapist and fitness consultant for all age group of clients, national and international elite athletes from various sports disciplines. Working at a head physio at Sports Science Center, Balewadi, Pune. Work as in charge of physiotherapy of Directorate of Youth Affairs and Sports, Government of Maharashtra in Khelo India Youth Games, Guwahati in January 2020. Director of Rehab World Sports and Physiotherapy Clinic, Pune. Head physiotherapist at Khelo India Judo Academy, Pune from January 2019 till present. Head physiotherapist at Zee Maharashtra Kusti Dangal, Pune from October 2018 to November 2018. Very nice to know your journey, Dr. Sandeep. Working as a consulting head of medical and physiotherapy department of Telangana Premier Kabaddi League for January 2016 till present. Work as consultant head of physiotherapy and medical department and manager operations at United Basketball Alliance India Private Limited, Pune from January 2016 till 2018. Working as a center head physiotherapist at Sports Science Center, Balewadi Sports Complex, Pune, under Ministry of Sports and Youth Affairs, Government of Maharashtra from May 2015 till present. Working as a consultant head and handles Department of Physiotherapy, Rehabilitation and Fitness, Strength and Conditioning at American Football Federation of India from June 2015 till present. So means you are working at global level also. We are proud of you as an Indian. Next is Mr. Jayant Dubey. Now we all thought of like I have introduced and all these eminent speakers from who are working as a providing various services. Now I am going to introduce a swimmer who has actually experienced this mental strength during his swimming of 81 kilometers. So Mr. Jayant Dubey, he has secured 7th position covering 81 kilometers distance in 12 hours, 29 minutes and at 76th world longest swimming competition. Murshidabad, West Bengal, approved by Swimming Federation of India in 2019. Participated at 44th All India Long Distance Swimming Competition approved by Swimming Association India in 2018, covering 14 kilometer distance in 2 hours and 2 minutes. Participated at relay event organized by Dolphin Swimming Club, Nagpur, Maharashtra at Arabian Sea in Mumbai in 2017, covering 37 kilometer distance in 7 hours and 02 minutes. Participated at 42nd All India Long Distance Swimming Competition approved by Swimming Federation of India in 2016, covering 14 kilometer distance in 2 hours and 21 minutes. So while looking at your graph, Jayant, I see you have covered 81 kilometers in 12 hours. That is really amazing. Participated at 73rd Open Water Long Distance Swimming Competition at Bhagirathi River, India, approved by Swimming Federation of India in 2016, covering 19 kilometer distance in 2 hours and 46 minutes. He also participated in 29th Veer Savarkar All India Swimming Competition, Gujarat, India in 2016, covering 36 kilometer distance in 9 hours and 39 minutes. Really proud. We all know what Veer Savarkar has done for our country and how he escaped through sea. So really great to know, Mr. Jayant. Participated at 5 stages solo swimming in Arabian Sea, Goa by Goa Swimming Association in 2016, covering 43.31 kilometer distance in 8 hours and 34 minutes. Participated at 6 stage solo swimming in Arabian Sea, Mumbai in 2015, covering 67.31 kilometer distance in 17 hours, 21 minutes and record noted in India Book of Record. Wow, very congratulations. Participated at all over India Open Water Swimming Marathon, Pulwa Bridge, Goa in 2015, covering 5 kilometer distance in 1 hour 19 minutes. And he also participated in Sun Rock to Gateway of India Sea Race in Mumbai in 2018, covering 2 kilometers distance in 20 minutes and 22 seconds. So very nice to welcome you all for this session. Thank you very much for being here. And now I introduce our today's moderator and host, Mr. Bhavar. Next, Mr. Bhavar Dekhne, he delivers lecture on Sant literature, Indian philosophy, Indian scriptures and corporate karma yoga, corporate kirtankar and its relevance to present world on various platforms. He is pursuing PhD in organizational management from Savitribai Phule Pune University, Pune. He studied strategy management and organizational development from University of Wisconsin, USA. Very warm welcome to this webinar, Mr. Bhavar. Please unmute.
Thank you, ma'am. We'll start webinar now. First of all, I would like to welcome Dr. Mustafa Topiwala in this session. Sir, you are known as maker of Iron Man. Before starting the interaction, we will see one AV on Iron Man training and then we will go ahead. Technical team, please.
Life has its own colors and hues. It also keeps on moving. Its situation, pace, and challenges beckon it. The journey is different at every stage and it has to begin every time. The need to get on this new journey is an inherent urge to relook at yourself, rework on your capacities, and rediscover a newer you. It needs a resolve to keep finding, trending new paths where every step counts. The path could be long, unknown, but you need to keep going. Going with the belief in your journey. The journey also calls for you to stretch your limits, to go beyond your own benchmark, to look clearly to your goals and try harder to give it all that you have in you. Ironman Triathlon in Vichy, France 2018 was this journey for my rediscovery. The triathlon tests your capacities through swimming, cycling and running. It requires a positive will, energy and spirit. The test is on multiple fronts and your preparedness manifold. Was I ready? Yes, I was. The test of your readiness in the freezing cold waters, where every ripple makes you shiver and every move of yours makes you stronger. Every moment and every moment counts. You only have to surge ahead, on to the next task of cycling. Open fields, long routes and the rhythm of the pedal of your bicycle. It tests the mind. That motivates the grit which makes you and the courage which defines you. The journey is not reached till you run the last stretch to rediscover yourself. To prove your own might, you may want to stop, but the goal keeps calling and finally you have reached. You are the Iron Man. Having found the new you, the journey of rediscovery has reached its goal, only to begin again with a new destination.
You are an Iron Man!
Wow, sir.
Thank you.
To be very honest, we have seen Iron Man in Avenger movies only. But we want to know the real story behind creating such Iron Man. And we would be also interested in knowing the inspirational journey of making the youngest Asian Iron Man ever.
Yeah. Thank you, Sports Indy. Thank you, Supriya, for this wonderful opportunity. And we have a lot of participants, a lot of sports people involved. And the topic is, as you know, it's fitness with psychology. So everything is with the mind. So as you saw the video, I would thank Dr. Ravinder Singhal I want to give a small introduction. Dr. Ravinder Singhal was the ex-commissioner of police in Nasik. He just shifted to Aurangabad, and he is now the Inspector General in Aurangabad, IG. So, you know, as a police officer, doing such events, and that also as a commissioner, doing some events, and creating a benchmark. No, when you are in such a level, you have a pose, because people see you with that angle that, oh, he's a commissioner of police. So taking up such serious challenges, and challenges which is like a lot of mind games, as you heard Mr. Singhal speaking, like the challenge was tough, but I really accepted it. So I would like to say that whenever you begin, no, the beginning is always tough. Whatever sports you play, it may be an Ironman, it may be you are a sprinter, you are a shot put player, you are a long jumper, whatever sports you play, the beginning is very tough. In the middle, you will feel that you are now balancing. You may either, you would like to quit or you would like to continue. But that self-belief, no? So it is always important that when you have a good team, so that belief is there, the self-belief, okay, yes, I should do it and I can. And no, the finish line is just there, and that's it. You can do it. And as I told you that when I was training him, his daughter Ravija Singhal, she became Asia's youngest Ironman. So her journey was very difficult, very different. She was only a 18-year-old girl when she started training for Ironman. She never ran in her life. Like, you know, Ironman is a journey of 3.8 kilometers of swimming, 180 kilometers of cycling, and 42 kilometers of running. And all three things have their own cutoffs. Like, you have to complete your 3.8 kilometers swim in 2 hours, 20 minutes. If you don't finish it, you are disqualified from the event. Imagine you are training for 8 to 10 months to do an Ironman event, and you just miss. So Ravija happened to miss her cycling cutoff with 5 minutes when she was with her dad at Vichy. She missed her cutoff with 5 minutes, and she was disqualified from Vichy, and she couldn't become an Ironman. She came back to India, she spoke to us, and she said, sir, something went wrong. I think I was not ready for the challenge. And imagine an 18-year-old girl telling I was not ready for a challenge. So we said, what happened? She said, I was thinking of the finish line. And I thought the finish line is very easy for me. So that is the point. I said, see, this is what happened to you. You should have concentrated on each segment. First, swimming, because she's already a national swimmer, and she has bagged a lot of national medals in swimming. So I said, first was your swimming. You did it in cutoff time. Next was your cycling. You should have concentrated on that cycling segment, that this should be finishing in 8 hours, 30 minutes, and I should finish this. But you were just thinking of the finish line that was 17 hours altogether, which made you, which was very difficult for you, and you missed the cycling cutoff with 5 minutes. In 6 months of time, she again started training with us. And she said, sir, I would like to do an Ironman again. And the journey again started. We started training her all over. All the things were repeated: swimming, cycling, running. And it was in Western Australia, Busselton, when she became Asia's youngest Ironman at the age of 19. And even today, her record is there, and she's Asia's youngest Ironman.
Great, sir. Great. Her journey is really inspiring. 18 years old girl participating in such a big event. Concentrate on finish line. You should concentrate or focus on the process.
Right.
So now we have understood that to be Ironman, you need to be physically fit. Hello. Great, yeah. Sir. 18 years old girl participating in such a big event itself is a very big deal. You rightly said that you should not focus on the deadline, or you should focus on the process of it, right?
Right.
So we are now getting the idea what is Ironman. You need a high physical endurance to be Ironman. Here you need to go beyond your body limits, right?
Right.
For this, you need to train your body. But do you think for this, you also need to train your mind? Please, sir.
Absolutely, absolutely. See, it is not just an endurance event. It is an event because any endurance sport, so any sports you play, if you are mentally not fit, if you are mentally not focused, no, if you are not able to set goals, you can never achieve your targets. And all these goal settings comes only if you are willing to focus on that. See, for example, a girl of 18-year-old who wants to enjoy a college life, and the stereotype of things are happening in India. Like people like, "Arey, why the girls should do this? Abhi inko kya karna hai? Why they should do all this? Focus on education. Focus on your this thing." And suddenly one day when the girl comes and says, "No, this is not my field," because she wants to do something else in her life. Everybody is doing education, everybody is becoming an engineer, but there are girls who want to become a sports person. There are people who want to be remembered, okay, yes, she is this girl who have made India proud. So this things comes only when we have a team. So it was not just me who was training her as a endurance trainer, but we are also counseling her. Her dad, being an IPS officer, was always supportive. That is very important. The parents are very, very supportive. So if you have supportive parents who are inculcating you the right things, that what is required at this moment, and you should do it. And this is what happened. And this is what happens whenever you want to achieve something. It is your mind. So always set goals and do positive talking is what I tell to my clients, that always talk to yourself. If you don't talk, I don't think you will be able to achieve.
Okay. So, means self-belief is very much important, that I can do something different, right?
Right.
Here the psychology comes. Sir, while studying about fitness and psychology, I had gone through number of researches, and in one of the research, I found that there is a relationship between personality and performance. This research focuses on personality characteristics and how they are related to the performance. Some of the characteristics like mental toughness, self-efficiency, arousal, motivation, commitment, competitiveness, and most important, control. They are found consistent among the athletes. So for Ironman, definitely they are required, right?
Right.
Do you also consider these personality characteristics while selecting and training the candidates, sir?
See, basically, this research, what is being done is good. It's a good research. But I would like to cite an example. I know everybody knows Hima Das, right? Hima Das became the first Indian to achieve a gold medal in a 400 meters track and field event. And when I was going through her journey, I just came to know that she belongs to a farmer's family, and she's from Assam. So being from a background of a farmer's family, and in her early school days, she only used to play football. So that was the time when the coach, so see, this is very important. The coach found out that she has a tremendous amount of speed in her legs. So the coach was there, and the coach when then told her that, Hima, I think you should change your game. So this is what happens in our field also. So at times, somebody coming and telling, I want to be an Ironman, or I want to become a national player in kayaking or canoeing. So exactly at times we just look at them and say, are you sure you want to become an Ironman? Because they only have seen people doing things, but they want to do it. Some people do have good talents, like the parents are into sports, so they just continue sports. But people like most of our Indian sports people who come from a very poor background, most of them are farmers. No, the parents are farmers. They're not sports people. But when they watch all these motivated movies and all, then they also aspire. If they can do it, why not I? So similarly, as I told you that Ravija Singhal was just a college-going girl and a national swimmer. So she was just thinking, when I can swim well, I should even try to cycle and I should even try to run. Why can't I? Why can't? So that was the question. Why can't? So she had that belief and she came to us and she said, okay, if you can train me in the right direction. So definitely, basically what we do is we give them a program, design program that see Monday this is what you have to do, Tuesday this is what you have to do, and every week there is a day when they have to only do meditation, because that is where they have to think about the event. So you have to visualize yourself. Okay, what are you going to do now, and how are you going to proceed in that? So that visualization is very important. And most important thing, being into science, when you do a lot of meditation, your heart rate goes down and down. And this is what we require for an endurance sports, because we want them to sustain for a long duration of time. So the lower the heart rate, the better the performance is.
Okay.
So this is how we work with the clients.
Okay. So meditation is one of the important tool or a technique which is required for being an Ironman.
Right.
Great, sir. You have rightly said that I recollect one quote, believe in yourself so that you can move the world. So becoming Ironman is believing yourself, meditating, and making yourself ready to be sustained. Right, sir?
Right.
Sir, in team games such as cricket, Pro Kabaddi, you are associated with Pro Kabaddi, experience matters a lot. The team having more senior players has greater chance of winning the game. Many times it happens that young talents coming from Khelo India like events have to play with these senior players in the team. This obviously creates a lot of pressure in these new players. Then how do you train the minds of young players in this regard who come and join the senior player? It also happens with cricket and other team games as well. So we just want to know this from you.
So I've been associated with the U Mumbai team since last 2 seasons, and even maybe we have the Pro Kabaddi coming up this year also. And also, I was with the camp of Rajasthan Royals of the IPL this season. So there's a lot of mixture of players. When the auction goes on, we have young talent coming into it. So like for Pro Kabaddi, we have talents coming from Khelo India. We have talents coming from national school games who have won a gold medal. So when they enter into this, and this, I would like to tell you, the whole scene is a very different scene altogether, because you have some players who've been playing from season 1, and you are now entering a season 7. So a player who has been playing from last 7 years is now you are going to play with the same player. So when a new player enters this arena, basically when they join this, it is very important to train them mentally. See, physically they are all fit. They have been practicing very hard. They have been playing their games every day. Because of the good game, they have been selected into a league, and now they are with the senior players. But what happens now? There are different states. There's a state of Haryana, there's a state of Tamil Nadu, there's a state of Maharashtra. So everybody has their upper hand. You see, I am an Haryani, so we are dominating. I'm belonging to Uttar Pradesh, I am dominating. So again, the whole team revolves together. So it is important that the coach, the team manager, the team physio, the team masseur, the strength and conditioning coach, we are all together, and we are trying to just put positivity to our players, that you are all one. It is not a senior or junior player. And a junior player, whenever he enters any of these things, like for example, even IPL, so he is asked to bowl continuously in the nets, though he may not get a chance to play, but everybody is watching that this player has been bowling since 2 hours, 3 hours. So maybe next game he may get. Similarly in Kabaddi also, when you have a good raider, so he continuously raids when we are practicing. Like in a raid, he must be doing around 20, 25 raids. So we are all sure that I think tomorrow he may get a game, but unfortunately he doesn't get a game. So he comes out, he tells, I have done so much today. आज मैंने 25 raid किया, तो मैंने इतना मार खाया. No, the raiders are being hit like anything. मैंने इतना मार खाया, मुझे इधर हाथ पे चोट लगा, इधर पैर पे चोट लगा. But why I am not getting a chance to play in front of the crowd, huge crowd? So I always tell them, "Ke boss, whenever you are playing, whenever you are practicing, don't look at how many raids you have made or how many hours are you been bowling in the net. Just focus that whenever I'll get one chance, that will be a turning point in my life. So that is what happens. So, you know, we had a very young talent from Maharashtra this year in our team, U Mumba. He got a chance. Maybe that was a chance when he got in the semi-finals. When we were in the semi-finals, he got a chance in the semi-final, and he almost won the match for us. And he became a star. So this is what I tell my players, that just focus on that one chance and keep practicing, practicing, practicing.
Great, great, great. Sir, you mentioned about Rajasthan Royal.
Yeah.
Means T20 is one of the prime, what you can say, IPL is one of the prime contest that India is experiencing from last 10-12 years. So we are very much eager to know your experience in regards with training Rajasthan Royal players. Is my first question in this sense. And second, I would like to club two questions with it. You are also working in area of sports rehabilitation. So we want to know the difference between physiotherapy and sports rehabilitation and role of psychology in both of them. So first, regarding Rajasthan Royal,
yeah,
and then next two one.
See, after almost when I started my career, I was in Bombay. So I was with the CCI club, the Cricket Club of India. That is the Brabourne Stadium. So I was the first sports physio to start sports rehabilitation in Brabourne. And I was very fortunate enough that that was the time when IPL started. That was the start of the IPL. And the first league of IPL, the second league of IPL, both happened at Brabourne because Wankhede was under construction. So I got a chance with the Chennai Super Kings as a strength and conditioning. I was very young, like 13, 14 years back. I was not into that sports. So I got an assistant strength and conditioning coach with the Chennai Super Kings. So that was a turning point. And when I saw all these big players, I used to see them on TV. And suddenly today I am training them. So it was also challenging for me because you have to think the way they are thinking. At times you have to accept what they are telling you. Because when you train them, they say, see, this is what we do for our power, this is what we do for our speed. So try to give us more that kind of a workout which improves our speed. So at times, I always tell that I'm a learner. Okay, so when my student comes and tells me something, okay, this is what we require. Can you just do this, search on this, give us some more details about it. So I always learn to that. I don't tell, okay, Arey bhai, I am doing PhD, I am a postgraduate, I know everything. No, I want to learn. Okay, whatever information I get from you, I'm definitely going to work on that. So similarly, after a period of a long gap, I got the Rajasthan Royals this time, and we had a camp in Nagpur before the lockdown. And unfortunately, I'm not traveling because there are some speculations happening that we may have a Pro Kabaddi season this year. So then I have to take care of the U Mumbai team if they come. So the experience was again the same. After almost 10 years, you have big players coming there, and you have already a set team, and suddenly a new member entering. Like for me, it is like a debut. As I say, when a new player comes in the team, for him it is like he's very nervous, very scared. If he's going to talk to me or not, will I get a chance to deliver my workout session? What is going to happen? But it is very important that you have to mingle with everyone. Communication is very important. So this is what I have learned. So whoever it is, whether it is a team manager or if it is a coach, and it is always important that you should have good communication. So when the communication is good, automatically you become friendly with everyone. So once you become friendly with everyone, slowly you get the opportunities, and that opportunities you have to create.
Right.
So it's a good opportunity again, and I created it. And coming to the second question, there is no difference between physiotherapy and sports. See, physiotherapy is basically it's a degree course. And an example, there are many players who's been right now must be listening to us. Any of them should have injured the knee, maybe an ACL injury or a meniscal tear, who should have undergone a surgery. Okay, maybe a sports player, a very good sports player who have undergone a surgery. So when the surgery happens, and we have two forms, like we have prehab and rehab. So before the surgery, we want to see that we get some range of motions in the player, so that after the surgery, the player's little confidence ki, yeah, I was told that this is going to happen, this is going to happen, and I have to work on these specific muscles. So that is a basic physiotherapy which happens for a period of 1 month after the surgery. Maybe when we achieve a knee flexion, say a knee bending of 90 degrees, and then the physiotherapist say that now you are good. I think now you should, after 3 months, you should start training onto the sports type. So then they come to us. So I again work with my physio. I speak to him. I understand what all the treatments have been undergone, what all the procedures have been done, and then I take it forward. And I want to get that player back to sports, because now a surgery has happened. The player is also little scared. कि वापस if I am running, अगर मैं भागूंगा या मैं jump करूंगा, तो my knee may not pop out again, or it may not twist. So am I fit to do that? So getting that confidence into a player, there are a lot of programs what we have developed. So we continue those programs for another 6 months. So that is a period of 9 months when the player is almost ready. And you must be watching this Pro Kabaddi. Pro Kabaddi is a very, very dangerous game. Okay, it is like a wrestling. You have to just hit hard. So we had Siddharth Desai, who was with U Mumbai last year. And at the end of the season, he had a shoulder injury, which he underwent a surgery. And you saw Siddharth Desai this year with Telugu Titans. So when you saw Siddharth Desai, initially, he was a little scared when he was playing. But he underwent 9 months of strenuous training. Everything was there. But he was scared. Again, if some hard compressive pressure comes to my body, what is going to happen? And then slowly, he understood, okay, no, I have done enough training. I have full faith on my training. So that is sports rehabilitation. So you have to trust your trainer. So you have to trust your coach. So you have to trust your godfather, whoever it is. You have to trust your mentor. So when you trust them and when you follow their lines of treatment, definitely you see good results. So that is how we differentiate generalized physiotherapy from sports rehabilitation.
Okay. The trust factors bring psychology in sports rehabilitation. Great, sir. Great, sir. It was indeed a very informative session for us, and we are very much thankful and grateful to you for sharing wonderful thoughts on physiotherapy, Ironman, sports rehabilitation, role of psychology in all these segments. And I also thank Sports Indie for bringing such a wonderful person on board for this webinar. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thanks, Sports Indie.
Yeah. Now we'll go to Snigdha Gupta, ma'am. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Ma'am, while going through your profile, I got to know many things, and I got to know that you are active in various areas of psychology. Ma'am, would you please brief some of the areas in which you are working?
Yes. Thank you, first of all, Sports Indie. Thanks to Supriya ma'am, and thanks to you for asking me such questions. It's a very good question. Of course, now what is sports psychology? Now everybody knows, each one of you has definitely, as Dr. Mustafa was saying, nothing can happen without the mind. There is a mind and a body connection, and our mind and body are connected. Your body will not move until your mind instructs it to move. For example, everything is first conceived in your mind. If you cannot think and achieve it in your mind first, you will never achieve it. It's as simple as that. So basically, as I think I would just borrow the quote from Mustafa's video, whatever the mind can conceive, it's that the body can achieve. So it is limitless, right? There is no limit to what the mind can, where the mind can go and what the mind can achieve. And whatever you think you can achieve first in your mind definitely can be achieved by your body as well. That is point number one. Now, psychology as such, of course, the sports psychology which works behind all of these are like, of course, you know, if you ask from me from the therapy point of view, from the practitioner point of view, a counseling point of view, yes, there are psychologies. I mean, there are, for example, in the mental health itself, there are psychologists, sports psychologists, there are clinical psychologists, there are so many different disciplines. Now, the thing is, each one of them work in details and they have different approaches. What I specialize in mind sciences, and which is called the neuro-linguistic programming, on short, the NLP. Now, neuro-linguistic programming basically is based on the study of your five senses. Now, the five senses are basically what you see is your vision, sense of vision. What you hear is your auditory sense. What you feel in your body, the feeling in your body is actually the feeling in your muscles, which is called the kinesthetic sense. And there is sometimes some sense of taste, which is called gustatory, and there's another sense of smell. Now, taste and smell are a little, you can keep them aside for the time being. But these major senses, for example, like vision, if I talk of vision, you know, the first sense, visionary, is what you see, what a sportsman sees in front of their eyes, you know, what the end goal, you know, like as Dr. Mustafa said, that girl, she saw her closure, you know, her finishing line first. So what is exactly that you see at the end? What are you going to achieve? How you're going to behave when you achieve that? How do you look when you achieve? What is what is the picture in front of you? How big is the picture? All right, all these comes, and plus most of the sports person require even a little enhanced vision called peripheral vision also. They don't see normally things as eyes we see, normal people see. They require a lot of peripheral vision, you know. You understand what is a peripheral vision is, like what you nowadays have in your mobiles, you know, where you can pan around. So this kind of visions are required. Now, these are all possible. These are certain skills which are perfectly possible to be to achieve through the neuro-linguistic programming. So basically, in short, each one of us has a preferred manner of representing information and experience that we've had in the past to ourselves. We have one way of representing our past experiences. If you failed in the past achieving something, that memory or the belief stays on to you and it affects your future performances. That's said. All right. Now, these are the 5 representational systems: visual, auditory, kinesthetic, and gustatory and olfactory, which work. And here what happens is, for example, let's take for example of as a golfer. A golfer may have a repeated experience of playing a particular shot very badly, you know, and that is one because he has played that shot very badly every time in all the practice session. So whenever, let's say, he goes for any kind of a match or a tournament, now I'm just taking an example of a golfer. Now, because that memory and the belief that he's not done well in the practice session and in the past tournaments he's failed there, that itself, that is a negative representation of his experience, right? So that basically plays a very big role in his future shots. Whatever he's going to achieve, his mind has already believed that he cannot achieve it because he's failed once, he's failed twice, he's failed. So the thing is, all of that, you know, is something every man or a sportswoman has a set of values and beliefs which operate at a subconscious level, which drives their choices which they make further in life, their actions, their focus, and their motivations. So each one of the sports person, you ask anybody here, there is always an internal dialogue. Okay, it's called a meta program. Any internal dialogue which runs at the subconscious level, and this internal dialogue is one of the biggest obstacle to growth and development, provided it is not taken care of. If you take care of this internal dialogue positively through mind sciences, through NLP techniques, okay, if the internal dialogue is extremely supportive, then this internal dialogue works like a coach or athlete's enhancement, and that can be utilized to support and motivate the player furthermore and see that per player achieving the goals. So, and if this internal dialogue is negative, then or demanding, then what we do in NLP is we use the five senses that I told you. There are characteristics of these five senses. For example, if I say vision, now vision means what do you see in front of your eyes of your past performance. So the person may see a still picture, a black and white image, not a very bright image. So this is called a submodality. One can alter this. Okay, one can alter the colors in your mind, okay, which we call as visualization. Visualization exercises are extremely important to learn from your past references and to check your internal dialogue and make the dialogue more positive. So we can change the tone and tonality of your internal dialogue, and that can become the tone of your coach, who is always encouraging you to perform better. So one can change your body language and the tone and tonality. So instead of a nagging critic, your tonality becomes often encouraging coach. So this is basically, and there are various, not one visualization of course is used, but there are various techniques in psychology which enhances the performance, the focus, and the strength and the stamina. Whatever you believe you can achieve, whatever you can conceive in your mind, you will achieve it. That's as simple as that.
Great, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes. You mentioned about NLP training. This is one of the very different and beautiful word, neuro-linguistic programming. And you also mentioned how it is used in arena of sports at different levels. So you mentioned about internal dialogue, which a sportsman need to do with himself or herself. In Marathi, it is rightly said, "Apalacha vada apanasi." So we should interact with ourselves only. Ma'am, to take this ahead, I just want to ask you one question, that anxiety and stress are believed to be negative things, but they are also necessary response for the body to survive. Also,
Yes.
some kind of stress is required to perform well. We need to go under stress so that we can bring out something, right? However, it becomes problem when it begins to inhibit the activity. Means it should not invade our activity or our work. Ma'am, have you ever come across some cases or some players who have gone in anxiety or in stress, and which therapy you have used to treat anxiety of the players?
Yes, a very good question, and I'm sure each one of you would be looking at something like this.
Thank you.
I have a presentation, in fact, which, if you allow me to share the screen, I can show you this, how anxiety works. See, let's understand our mind, a human brain, which is your hardware, and the software is your mind. Basically, we work on the fight or the flight syndrome. If there is a challenge, all right, if there is a challenge, suddenly we have to do something, so our body will work only like binary, like 1 or 0 mode. So either we fight it or we flight it. That is, either we fight the things or we run away from it. Now this is a default programming of our brains, okay, of our mind. Default is ya to lado ya to maro, okay, ya to bhag jao wahan se, or otherwise fight it out. Now this is how actually anxiety everybody has, it's very natural. And anxiety, if it can be treated properly, if it can be routed properly, the same anxiety, of course performance anxiety is there with everybody, all right, the nervousness, the anxiety of how they will perform, and that is always there. So how to calm it is something, and we can utilize this anxiety itself. Higher the anxiety, better is the performance also. We can do that. All right, I will just, if you can just show me the screen. Can I ask, can you allow me to share the screen, please? All right. Yeah, this is the basic, the mental toughness. The framework is basically works on these basic three principles. There is a mindset, a mindset is the belief systems that you are born with, and the not only born with, this is something that you've acquired throughout your life in your past, since you were a baby and that you've come this far. There is a mindset which you operate from. They can be positive, negative experiences of the environment and everything. You require basic mind training to change this mindset, and a mind body relaxation is required for this. Now, for a mindset, there is basically a, every time there is a goal required, right? Each one of us has a goal in life, whether it be in sports or in life itself. So one has to identify what to get out of the activity and how are you going to train with this. Now, what is most important is the belief system that you hold on. Like in this slide, you can see it's a cat who's looking at the mirror, and the cat sees herself as a lion. All right. So the cat doesn't become a lion just by seeing themselves, but if the cat starts behaving and believing in herself that she is, she will be. It's as simple as that. There's no limit to this. All right. In NLP, there's a presupposition which says that if one person in the world has achieved something, like for example, he was talking about a particular world record or something. If one person has achieved that, you have equal chances of achieving the same, irrespective of your environment, irrespective of the other thing. The chances are the same of you also achieving it. And there is something called modeling excellence. Modeling excellence is a technique of NLP in which we model someone. Suppose there's a mentor or a player that you literally idolize. You follow all his recordings, you follow his game and everything. If you start taking on the identity of your mentor, or you start adapting his own belief system, everything about that person, your mentor, you also have the same chances of success. That is what NLP says, and that is definitely true. So we basically try and model excellence and replicate that excellence in others. Okay, so the belief is all that is important. अगर आपके बोलते हैं ना मन ने मान लिया, मन में 1000 हाथियों का बल होता है कहते हैं, तो अगर मन ने मान लिया कि आप बिल्ली नहीं शेर हो तो आप हो. It's as simple as that. So you have to have the belief in yourself and your ability to accomplish something or anything. Of course, these are the wheel of excellence, is how what you require. These are the qualities. I wouldn't dwell on this. Something which important NLP believes in is dealing with emotions. Emotions run very high because of the high level of hormones. The emotions will also run very high. So all successful athletes, like when we talk about anxiety, will accept strong emotions such as excitement, anger, disappointment as a part of the sport experience, and they're able to use this. We have to actually use these only emotions to improve rather than allowing them to interfere. So there is basically an intrinsic and extrinsic motivation which occurs in the mindset. Basically, if a player may be motivated by a lot of external factors like getting rewards and awards and so many things in life and recognition and Guinness Book of World, I know the world record books or the Limca Book of whatever. There is an intrinsic motivation as well, a motivation which is internal. Believing in yourself that this is the right thing to do and you are the right person to do that. So basically, most of them set on goals on which are SMART goals. SMART means specific goals. Specific means I want to be, let's say for example, I want to be the fastest swimmer. Now, faster than whom? What is the speed? Everything has to be very in detail jotted down. All right. It has to be specific. Your goal has to be measurable. Measurable means within what time limit. You can't take years to do it. You have a time limit, right? It's got to be measured. It's got to be attainable. Attainable means if attainable, it only the limit is this. If one person in the world has achieved this, you have equal chances of achieving the same. Realistic, it has to be realistic. It cannot disturb the ecological balance. Like for example, you say, I want to fly like a bird. I mean, you can't. It's not ecologically balanced, right? And it has to be time bound. So this is basically, the SMART goals. Now, basically, how do we go about this? Is the mindset that we operate on. So whatever is your belief and you want to believe in, see, whatever belief you've been holding, little can be done about it. Of course, through NLP, the programming can be changed completely. But what you want to believe in further now, henceforth in life, to achieve your goals, that is something you have to build the belief by small, small practices every day. As you practice in the field, you also got to practice your mind as well. So you've got to write down your successes and your accomplishments, review them and add to them every day, even the smallest accomplishment. For example, if you don't feel like getting up on a particular day, as small as an accomplish that getting up and tying my shoelaces of my sports shoes is enough. Okay, but as long as you're moving forward, it's fine. Write it down, jot it down. All right. Then now the basically what works in mind training, and how does the mind training work? The mental imagery, that is called the visualization techniques. Okay, you have to see yourself at the finish line with the images as vivid as possible, the images as bright as possible in a video mode, not in a still mode. When you will achieve something, how would you look like? What will you hear first? What will you see first? The audience clapping for you, hear that clapping today. Hear the cheer and excitement today, not furthermore panic, not future pace it, but today if you can't even hear the excitement of your family members today for you, then you can't even believe in it, you can't even visualize, then how will you achieve it? अगर आपने दिमाग में सोच भी नहीं सकते कि आप कैसा होगा वो मंजर जब आप वो अचीव करोगे, तो अभी से कैसे होगा? Okay, so get that. Make the images, whatever you want to achieve in your body language. How do you look? All right, your body language, your physiology, how does it look like? What is your weight? What is your height? How you're running? What is the which leg is forward when you cross the finish line? What is your pose? Everything you have to visualize in visual. In auditory sense also, you have to hear the applause, hear the magic. All right, and the feeling that happens in your body, your heart jumps a beat, your heart skips a beat, you feel so good. You have to be able to visualize that. You have to break down the image into smaller components and include emotion in that. Emotion is the feeling in your body. For most people, sometimes they point out to their heart that when they feel very happy, what happens? The heart feels lighter. Now, is there a set of balloons tied to the heart that the heart feels lighter? Heart feels lighter is a feeling in your muscles, right? In the muscles of the heart. So that is how. So you have to incorporate as many senses as possible in this detail. Incorporate your visual sense, incorporate your auditory, incorporate your kinesthetic, the feeling in your body. Also use the smell and the taste. If you love the smell of, let's say, freshly baked cake, let's say vanilla flavor, whatever. Okay, if you love the smell of perfume or a particular deo, something of that, or incorporate that, you also smell that also with your achievement. It will make you even better. So this is your positive results and the frequency time training that which is there. So basically, how do we do this? This is called visualization, mental visualization. We sit in a very comfortable place where nobody disturbs us. We close our eyes, we relax our body and create the vivid image of the scenario of finish, of the goal that you want to achieve. All that you need to concentrate is on the final goal. Make it as detailed, as vivid, as beautiful as possible, as big as possible. The biggest that even you can't achieve, even you can at least visualize, right? There's no limit to that. So basically, then there is always something, this which always interferes is the self-talk. I'm coming to anxiety, but these are all the precursors to that. Why does anxiety occur? Is basically the self-talk, the chatter that goes on inside everyone's head all day. So we have to be able to eliminate these negative thoughts and promote the constructive ones. So I told you, if you can, the self-talk, the internal chatter is negative for you, you can replace this to a motivational talk by your coach. You can just replace the imagery, the auditory, everything by simple technique called a visual swish. Okay. So, and I'll give you an example. Of course, there is something called, there is a faith factor, which is important, is a brief word or a face which reflects your basic belief system. For example, you must have seen in Hindi movies, you know, a lot of brief phrases or words are spoken, right? So, I just can't remember right now. Munna Bhai series has a lot of those words. The Three Idiots had a brief word or a phrase which says everything will go fine, right? Okay, so basically that faith also, faith in God, whether it's faith in your trainer, faith in your coach, that faith also is very important. See, it's simple thing. If you do not trust your doctor that he will get you somewhere, he will get you out of this problem, disease, then if you don't have the trust or the faith, then whatever he does the best, whatever medicines will never work. Simple. So you also need to have the faith factor also. So basically the focus and the discipline that you require into your mind is important. Now you have to get uncomfortable for this. This anxiety and all these things come in because you are extremely uncomfortable. The moment, you know, there's a process to reach. You don't reach it in just a moment, right? There's an entire process, and the process gets you uncomfortable at times. You have to move out of this orange one, is your comfort zone, to the red zone, which is the learning zone, which your coach or trainer. And actually there is a panic zone beyond that learning. One has to exceed that. All right, that uncomfortable, which is that, then it becomes comfortable for you. Then where your anxiety turns into excitement. So basically doing what is uncomfortable for you very often. See, it's uncomfortable for you right now is because you're not used to it. Do it 5 times, 7 times, do it, practice for 7 days. Similarly, the mind itself builds the neurons and the neural pathway with the 2 neurons, which is the new habit that you have. So that becomes a habit now. It becomes a belief system henceforth. So it will make it very convenient for you. All your fighting fear and laziness becomes a convenient factor ahead. So this is what was it, that how to get rid of bodily anxiety before an event. Every sports person gets jittery before the event. The best of the players will be shaking sometimes before the event, because they always think of consequences. What if this doesn't happen? What if I fail? What if this? What is this? All this? This is your self-talk. It's a mental self-talk. If you're not trained for a self-talk, depending on your belief system, then which one is heavier? You know, if your mental self-talk is not positive, then you will end up, you know, jittery when you are jittery in the body, you will be jittery in your performance also. So let's understand. So to get rid of, you know, the bodily anxiety before an event and transform into an available good and vital energy that gives you more confidence in whatever you're about to do. Now, I want each one of us, if possible, to do this visualization with me. Can we all do this, please? Okay, yeah, in your chat box, I'm sure one can, you can check up. I think let's do this. I'll just take 2 minutes, all right, yes, on this.
Okay.
Because this is very important. See, these things are very good theories. You know, saying, ma'am, theories पढ़ा रही है, सिखा रही है, सच में होता है क्या? तो एक बार try करते हैं ना, होता है ना?
Sure, ma'am.
है ना? तो जितने प्लेयर्स को हम जब ट्रेन करते हैं तो आपको भी कर सकते हैं ना, एटलीस्ट ये तो बिलीव तो दिखा ही सकते हैं आपको. ठीक है? Alright, all of you, I would recommend, of course, sit in a quiet place, mute your mobile phones or something, okay, where you can't hear so much of outside. Okay, now just sit down, keep your back very straight so that more oxygen goes into your brain and the spine. Keep your feet firmly on the floor. All right, I want you to close your eyes if possible. Close your eyes if possible. If there are tense muscles or something, let's relax them. Okay. So basically, I just want you to sit down quietly and be comfortable. Scan and relax your muscles. This is called a body scan, right from your feet till the tip of your head. I want you to scan and relax each and every muscle of your feet. Flex the feet, relax each and every muscle as you go up to your calf, to your knees, to your thighs, to your upper abdomen, to your shoulders. Take away the tension and just start feeling relaxed first. Okay, relax without and remain without moving for 30 seconds to 1 minute in this position of relaxation. Gradually and slowly tense all your muscles when you inhale. As you inhale, hold your breath in a state which is fully tensed. Gradually and slowly relax all your muscles when you exhale out. Now, while you are breathing in and tensing, I want you to talk to your body and say, all this nervous energy is being absorbed into my body as you breathe in. As you inhale, say to yourself in your mind, don't say it aloud, say to yourself, all this nervous energy and anxiety is being absorbed into my body. And now hold your breath. While you hold your breath, say, all this nervous energy is making me more and more confident. Hold your breath. While you inhale, hold your breath and talk to yourself and say, all this nervous energy is making me more and more confident. While you're releasing your breath, exhaling and relaxing your muscles, say to yourself, I am now fully in control of myself. So every breath that you inhale with the feeling. Now add on the feeling, right? Inhale with the feeling that the nervous energy is being absorbed into the body. While you're holding, that nervous energy is making you more and more confident. And when you exhale fully, then you do it with the feeling that you are fully in control of yourself. So this is, and you will see this is the way. If you do it 5 to 7 times, you will find your mind, body, and relaxing will completely relax, and that nervousness and anxiety will actually disappear with your breathing out, right? Because whenever you're holding in, that's it. So close your eyes, take 2 deep breaths, inhaling. This moment is mine. This moment is my own. When you exhale, do it with the feeling that I trust my resources. I trust my coach. All right. Whenever you inhale and exhale, the next time do any of your breathing exercises, remember to do that. Now, NLP uses techniques of future pacing. For example, now this is about a simple baseball. Now, here, let me tell you, this is what happens. Any sports person, when hits a particular shot, all right, before his body actually moves out to make a shot, let me give an example of, let's say, Dhoni. All right, now, whenever Dhoni hit that is famous helicopter shot, this was already, shot was already played in his mind previously, to before his body moved. So when he has already calculated this move by looking at the bowler, looking for a fast ball, he's already, you know, pacing the bowler. He paces the bowler and he knows, and before the ball hits his bat, he exactly knows which shot he is going to play, where exactly the ball is going to land, whether it's a sixer, which side of the stadium the ball is going to move, and from where will the spectators start clapping. That much is visualized before even hitting the shot. So you understand that it's first Dhoni hits a 6 in his mind first, and then his bat follows and it's hit. That is called a future pacing. It is something, it's a mind technique which is to be learned by all players. Unless you visualize the end result, your body will not move.
Right.
That's how it is. Okay, so swish, and then these are just, I'm just enumerating the NLP techniques, what these are. Swish is basically, it works with anxiety, with all kinds of anxiety, performance anxiety, not feeling good about it on a particular day, not feeling good about the practice, not feeling, you know, the emotions which are, so basically, you know, swish is like a switch. You can switch between negative images and positive images. So you can make the negative images all positive by just changing the submodalities, by changing the picture, the brightness, the audit, the sound, the feeling in your muscles. If you can manipulate that, everything can be manipulated. The results can be manipulated.
Yes.
Perceptual positions is something else. Is basically, you know, sometimes what happens is you are trying to hit a shot, or you're trying to achieve a goal, and you are only seeing it from your perspective as you see it. Suppose I change this perception to a second position. Okay, first position is your own position. Second position is maybe, let's say, for example, in cricket, it's you viewing from the bowler side or from the fielder side. So if a person gets into the body of the fielder or the bowler, so he knows, you know, there is so much more that a person can see. Okay, which is called the peripheral vision. So this second position is about viewing a situation from other person's perspective, getting into the body of the other person and actually visualizing it.
Yes.
It helps a lot in resolving mind conflicts that you have. Shall I do this or shall I do that? Shall I hit here or shall I not?
Yes.
Look at the perspective of the bowler. Where does the bowler is all there to stop your balls, or the fielders are there to stop. So the third, that is, you know, second position is getting into the opponent's. Sometimes, you know, that there are a lot of mind games which are played by the opponents on you as a player. In that case, you know, the biggest games are not won by fitnesses. It is, the biggest games are won by the mind. Actually, the mind games that we play, we should be able to judge that, right? So
Yes, sorry to interrupt you. This is a very wonderful
this
session.
is the last 1 minute. This is
Yeah.
the last one, only 1 minute.
Because yes, Pep, we need to go ahead. We are running a short of time.
Yes.
We should, I mean, so we will take a entire session on NLP in say next or
Just last thing, the third position, let me just finish. That was the last slide only after this.
yeah.
Okay. The third position is basically like a fly on the wall. Okay. If in the room you are there and the opponent is in, there's a fly, how does the fly see you? It sees both the people together. Sometimes that perspective really helps in sports. So these are basically the various, and this is the summary of all this. And thank you so much. I think I have answered most of the questions through the slide itself.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. It was really informative session. And in crux, perceive your success beforehand, and this will lead a better celebration, right? You should perceive your success beforehand. Thanks, ma'am, for coming and sharing your wonderful thoughts in this webinar. Sports from Sports Indie, I thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. The next guest, which is there with us, is from Sports Medicine branch. His name is Dr. Sandeep Chowdhury. Welcome you, sir.
Thank you.
Yes. There are medicines, you are into Sports Medicine branch. Are these medicines different than other medicines? First question. Or the therapy is different?
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to thank for Sports Indie. Like this is not like as actual words like medicines. Like sports medicines is not different than like normal medicines. But only thing is it is related to the sports field. So how does it matters? As in there are some prevented substances like prevented medicines which an athlete cannot take during his training period or his competition period. Like you must be aware of, there are some performance enhancing drugs and all. So we focus on that. Like we should not intake those kind of drugs which are mainly accessible to the normal population. So we restrict those medicines in sports medicine. And other thing which we deal with the like sports person in his perspective, we take care of his like health, and any injuries or any diseases or any matter he's having. So we take care of him in a manner that will bring him to the sports or is to this activity as soon as early as possible. So that is the one difference which we have. Otherwise, medicines are not different from the normal medicines. Those are the same one.
Okay. Okay. So you might have treated a number of sportsmen. While treating physical injury of a lay person and physical injury of a sports person, is there any difference, or it is the same?
No, definitely there is a difference.
Okay.
Because the recovery or the treatment, it depends on the person's goals. Okay, for a layman, to get rid of pain must be his goal first, right? But
Okay.
for an athlete, it's not about the pain, but just getting back to his field with the same kind of strength, endurance, power, and overcoming his weaknesses and getting into the field, getting into the sports again where he has left himself before the injury. So that is the one area where we sports physiotherapists need to take precious care about the athletes, so that he should resume his sporting activities as soon as possible. And while like layman, like as I told earlier also, like sports medicine and sports physiotherapy or normal physiotherapy, it is the same. Like the treatment approaches would be different in terms of say intensity, duration, or the frequency. So one of the same, like both are the cases. We treat the core of it, but with the difference of their goals. Right.
Okay. The sensitivity is different in
Yes.
treating both of them. Okay. Sir, you are a well-known physiotherapist. So we would like to know more about the physiotherapy which is used for sports person.
Okay. So sports person, like see, the physiotherapist work starts when it is related to sports person. It starts with the injury prevention.
Okay.
We more focus on the prevention part of it, because treatment of injury is very easy. Like anyone can do it. But as we say, like prevention is always better than cure, and it applies exactly to our field as in practically. Because no if athlete, no sports person would like to have an injury for himself, because injury means you are out of that tournament, injury means you are out of the season, and only sports person can tell you like what is the cost of being not on the field or not in the tournament, not in the phase. So treating a sports injuries definitely a task. Okay, because a person's injury can be different. Every person has his own body response to an injury and the treatment we pursue. So there is a lot of differences between injury and its prevention and its management. But as I told you, the what we focus is on the prevention, and what we do in prevention is like we focus on mostly on their flexibility, their range of motion, their basic strength, their requirement of their particular sports. Like if he is a like kabaddi player, so we need his strength, balance, coordination, and power. So we need to incorporate those things into his training schedule, so that he, in the first place, he should not get injured. And there are many more like sportsman regime also, where we can take care of their fitness basically. And we all know that the injury happens by an accident. It is not one's will or wish that okay, I need to get injured now or there. So and that is the time, if at all you get an injury, so there has to be a standard protocol. As we all know, like Dr. Mustafa also told in his previous thing, like if an ACL as a knee ligament is torn and the person is operated for it, he will take like definitely roughly 8 to 9 months to recover and fully get back to his field. But what he should do in this 8 to 9 months, right? Anyone cannot come back after 9 months. It is not a period which we can call as like chilling period, but it is a period. It is a phases wise rehabilitation. Like there are 2 to 3 phases always. Like phase one is primary phases, where you concentrate on like the range of motion or flexibility, like very basic things. Then next phases comes to your control motion phase, where we start like strengthening and doing like multiple activities at a time. And the most important phase is the recovery to sports phase. And what we do generally in this phase is we train the athlete as a functionally, as in what are his requirements for his particular sports. If he is a bowler, so he needs to bowl like continuously. He needs to bowl and he needs to imitate his actions like bowling actions. He needs to break it down. He needs to analyze like what is happening after every pitching or throwing a ball. So we analyze it in the last phase, and once we certify, once we feel okay, the athlete is fit enough to resume sports, and then only it is a time for an athlete to go back to sports. Otherwise, what happens when he cut short the rehabilitation phase, or we cut short any of his phase, there are chances of recurring his injuries, and no one likes to have the recurrence of their injuries. So this is the most important phase that we should follow 1, 2, 3 phases of rehabilitation and get like fit at the fullest of an athlete.
Great, sir. Great, sir. Means rehabilitation generally brings that sportsman or make that sportsman mentally fit, right?
Absolutely.
Great, sir. Sir, I would like to know that means there might be a window period after treating an injury and a person getting on the ground or on field. There might be some space or some period where he is doing nothing. So does you cater the mental conditions of a sports person in that arena or in that space so that he is fit enough to get on the field?
Absolutely, that is what we focus on, because any treatment like initially it used to be a person-centric approach, but nowadays it is a team approach. So whether the team is available, and who is a team is basically your trainer, your physiotherapist, your mental conditioning guy, your strength and conditioning guy, or your psychologist, so nutritionist. So these are the team members of your team. But when a physiotherapist or a sports medicine guy can tackle, as in sometimes he needs to tackle and he needs to play everyone's role. And what I believe is like every treatment starts with the mental preparation of that athlete, because he is very nervous. He feels he cannot come back to sports easily, or he's losing his precious time of his life or season. So that is why you need to take care of his mental thing first, as in you need to take care of his psychology. You need to tell him, you need to make him assure, okay boss, you will be there right back after a time. It's just a matter of time, but in that you need to follow, and if you follow all these things, and time will follow you, and you will be back to the particular spot. So in that phase, what we generally do is we engage the athlete in different activities. Like for example, he's injured his shoulder, so there are things which he cannot use his hand and shoulder, and he cannot do it. But rather than, we can work on his lower body, we can work on his techniques, we can do some video sessions, we can do analysis, old videos, like how got this injury and what are the new things and preventive measures for his future also, so that he can tackle those injuries while in the first phase only. So these are the things that definitely mental toughness, mental conditioning has to be done in the window period, as you said, sir.
Okay, great, sir. Last question.
Sure.
Last question. Have you treated a very critical case of injury of a very high or elite sports person till date? And what did you do to treat that sports person, and what psychological conditions you provided him to come out of the injury?
Yes, definitely. I won't go back to like my previous days. Recently, we had a wrestler. His name is Utkarsh Kale. He is a 57 kg category wrestler. He plays for India. A very good wrestler. He been to like Commonwealth Championships and all. He won it several times. He won in his category, Hind Kesari, Maharashtra Kesari, and all. And like few years back, I remember he had his back injury, and that was so severe and painful. At one point of time, he just thought of giving of his like career in wrestling. He said like, I cannot bear this pain, or I cannot go back to my wrestling mat and everything. So I just met him once like randomly, and then we had an interaction, and he said some things to me. So I said, okay, let's have a session to my clinic and we'll discuss further. So he said, no, but I'm willing to forgo my career. I said, okay, we'll talk still. And he was at my clinic the next day. We interacted, and I came to know before his body, he lost his battle in his mind. Okay, he doesn't want to come back to his field. Okay, and I analyze his conditions to his back, like spine thing. He had his MRIs and all. I spoken to some of my colleagues, some doctors in USA, and they suggested he is a perfect candidate and he can get back to his field. Okay, but provided he should follow the rigorous rehab program what he suggests. So we talk, and that was the point, like say 6 to 9 so we met multiple doctors like spine specialists and all. We met conditioners, and we got a perfect rehab plan for him. And now, after say 9 months down the line, he's absolutely pain free and painless, and he's motivated at his best, so that he's like willing, if Olympic qualifier can happen one more time and he can compete in his category, and he said, I'll definitely book my berth in Olympics. So that is totally depend on the mental toughness or conditioning of a person. So no doubt I had to make him feel that okay, he can do it. He can do it, and he is not like done yet from his field. And that was something motivation for him also and for me also, because now after him there are a lot many cases who already given up on their like physical background or this kind of injuries. So they are in touch with me now. Okay, if he can do it, we can also do it. They feel their injuries is not great as him or worse than him. Still, there is now hope, positive hope in an athletes. Okay, at any point of time, they can make a comeback and come back with a bang.
Great, sir.
Yeah.
If Utkarsh can do it,
Yes,
anyone can do it. It is a very important message that you have given through this talk.
definitely.
The crux of the story is prepare your mind first. The body will automatically come in line. So I again thank you for being part of this webinar and sharing very important message, inspirational message, and important information about sports medicine rehabilitation with us. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you, Bharat. Thank you, Sport.
Thanks, sir. Now I would like to introduce Jayant Duble with all of you. Hi, Jayant.
Hi, sir.
Yeah. Your journey as a swimmer is amazing and inspirational. First of all, I should tell every viewers this. Rather than limiting your swimming in swimming tank, you preferred open swimming, that is river or sea swimming. So what was your motivation behind participating in river and sea swimming competitions? Jayant, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Actually, my father is a national swimmer and also my coach. He has an NIH diploma in swimming. He offered coaching to many national and international swimmers, and many of his students have swam in the long distance in sea. At that time, I was swimming in the sea with them as a pace swimmer. So it promoted me that if I could swim as a pace swimmer, why cannot I cross the long distance in solo? I immediately talked to my father and mother that I would also like to cross the long distance in solo. They were too happy on this proposal. Then I start my journey of practicing in that way under the guidance of my father. This is how my interest turned towards the long distance swimming.
Okay. Okay. So it is a legacy that you are carrying in swimming and especially in long distance swimming. Great, Jayant. We are also curious to know about what exactly open water swimming is and what challenges one has to face during such competitions.
Good question, sir.
Thanks.
Swimming Federation of India and Murshidabad Swimming Association West Bengal organize 19 kilometer swimming and 81 kilometer swimming competition at Bhagirathi River every year.
Yes.
I have participated in 19 kilometer swimming competition in the year 2016. and it was my first experience to swim in river. But I had successfully swam in 2 hours 46 minutes. After that, I had planned in the year 2018 to participate in 81-kilometer world longest open water swimming competition. This competition starts from Jaiganj and finish at Behrampur in Murshidabad district. The year 2015, I have also participated in the open water marathons sea swimming expedition in the Mumbai, from Gateway of India to Juhu Chowpatty and back. And also crossing the Mandvi River has also in the Goa at different covering the distance, and it was the total distance of 120 kilometers. And my name is included as a marathon sea swimmer in India Book of Records.
Wow. Wow. That's great.
Yes.
So, thanks for sharing this wonderful information. There is one question which is very much genuine in my mind. You are into sea swimming or open water swimming, but I have seen your profile and you have mentioned that you have practiced at Nagpur, Pune and Nashik for sea swimming competitions. Yeah. Surprisingly, in 3 of these cities, there is no sea. Then how did you practice?
For open water swimming competition or expeditions need endurance, stamina, speed and water conditioning. And for that preparation, for this can be done in swimming pool. For that point of view, I was doing my workout continuously in swimming pool. I have practiced in lake and sea for gaining confidence and water wave. To get acclimatized with the swimming in cold water, I have entered to swimming pool early in the morning at around 3:30 a.m. to practice.
Okay. So how much hours you used to spend in swimming tank?
It depends on the kilometers of swimming competitions. Daily near about 6 hour practice.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yes,
so one flagship question.
Yeah.
You have participated in world largest 81-kilometer swimming competition, open water swimming competition, and you have covered 81 kilometers in 12 hours 29 minutes.
Yes.
You have reserved 7th position for this. So swimming 81 kilometers and for 12 hours, it is definitely an Herculean task, right? A Herculean task. Right. There is always, I want to ask you that there is always a X factor which drives you to maintain such consistency. So what is that X factor for you and what challenges did you face in this specific competition?
It's a very important question. Yes, there are so many challenges faced by me in 81-kilometer open water swimming competition.
Okay.
In these competitions, European swimmers participate on large scale every year. Also in this competition, those who participated early twice or third time also take part again. There is a condition to cross this distance in 12 hours 30 minutes. The width of the river is also very wide. The water currents are also differ at various levels. While swimming, if one forget the route, it requires a lot of hard work and to come the right direction.
Okay.
Language is also the big challenge in this region because lifeguard and observer on the boat are all Bengalis. Therefore, the direction given by them are only by expressions of hands. Many a time, whenever I am little away from the lifeboat, it is very difficult to me to understand the direction given by them. In such situation, the swimmer had to depend on the hand direction and actions. This competition is not less than climbing the Mount Everest. There are sharp water turns, enroads, and water currents on the water. Becomes very muddy. This competition is normally held in rainy season. There is always a flood-like situation in the river. Therefore, dead bodies of animals, human bodies, branches of trees, water bodies are spread all over in the mud like water. Sometimes big fishes are also passed by the side of the swimmer. Water traps are also found on the way. Depth of the water is sometimes some place are around 20 feet depth. Sometimes you have to cross the swimming in the current water flowing in the opposite direction. Sometimes the stable water and sometimes heavy flowing water also. In the year 2018, I had taken part in 81 kilometers swimming competition for the first time. I was new in this competition and faced the challenges first time. I was diverted from the route exactly before reaching the finishing point, and therefore I could not finish the competition in the given time by going the wrong direction.
Oh.
After giving fighting continuously for 12 hours, I could not cross the finish line, and I was very disappointed with the failure. And then I decided to make an attempt once again in the next year and achieve my goal.
Great, great. So you have achieved your goal. So a last question to you.
Yes, sir.
You have done your career in open sea swimming area. So
Yes.
what guidance you would like to give the newcomers
Okay.
who intend to come in sea swimming area,
Yes.
and what message you would like to pass to these swimmers to be successful in sea swimming?
There is a lot of difference in swimming between swimming pool and sea and river.
Okay.
You don't know the depth of the water in the open water swimming, and you need to swim in different flow also. Sometimes you have to swim in darkness, and therefore, unless there is a self-confidence, mental daring, determination, endurance, dedication, and devotion in the swimmer, he cannot be successful in open water swimming. Nothing is impossible if you set your goal and achieve it, and you should to adopt the 3D principles. The 3D principles are discipline, dedication, and devotion. There is no substitute for hard work and hard practice. I conclude with the message that if you want to be successful, you need to be work honestly and work hard, and I am sure that the success is yours.
Great, Jan. Great, Jan. You have shared a very important information with us. And yes, definitely psychology plays an important role along with your physical fitness, endurance. In fact, psychology provokes your endurance and makes you fit to achieve your target, no matter how difficult it is. So the crux of the entire session is being psychologically and mentally fit along with your physical endurance. Thanks, all of you. I request Mrs. Supriya Badve ma'am to express vote of thanks.
Sir, I am very much thankful to Sports Indie and especially to Badve Madam to give me an opportunity to express my experience. And also thanks to all participants. Thank you.
Thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being patient for such a long time, I know. But yes, the session was very interesting. Everyone, the speakers has delivered their reply in very nice and very good fashion. I first of all, I must thank you to Dr. Mustafa for giving his insight on developing of Ironman. We all have seen it is how tough it is, but to create fitness along with the mental fitness is very much important. That what he has shared with us, and he has given example of Mr. Ravindra Singhal sir, who is a IPS person, and his young daughter who is only 18 years old. So thank you for informative session and much more focus along with fitness on mental strength. So thank you for being here on this Sports India platform, Dr. Mustafa. Secondly, I will like to thank you, Snigdha ma'am. She has done a wonderful job today explaining how NLP techniques are important for fitness and specifically for mental psychology. For sports, she has mentioned about a meta program, that is what is meant by internal dialogue to achieve the success. She has shared some model of excellence, also faith factor, which is very important. She has given a live session for this meditation of 2 minutes. So thank you, Snigdha madam, for your good inputs on Sports India platform. Dr. Sandeep Chaudhary has given an excellent communication for his experiences, how he dealt with that wrestler, and he was very disappointed and not eager, and he was just in a stage that he couldn't come back anymore, but he treated him in such a manner that he has changed his whole life. So yes, your contribution towards this sports for giving them opportunity once again and bringing them back into the sports field is very amazing. We are just happy to be here to welcome you on this platform, and thank you for being here for this webinar today. Thank you, Jayant. Really appreciate at this at very young age you have shared your challenges faced during this 81 kilometers long journey. Very nice to hear that challenges, and really you have got disappointments very transparently. You have shared that you have got disappointments, but the resilience with which you came back to achieve your success and your goal, and you have achieved it. That is amazing to know once again. Specifically, I want to thank you, all your parents, for being there, their help to you and being a coach to you. Thank you, sir and ma'am, for being coach to Jayant. Though he is your son, but I'm taking this privilege today, being he's a part of this webinar today. And yes, your challenges while swimming in 81 kilometers, like facing this water creatures and flood situations, and really that is very scary. I'm feeling scary as of now, because imagining it's a something different. So how you faced it might be a great challenge. Once again, I congratulate you for your good journey shared with Sports Indie platform. From my bottom of heart, I thank to Bhavark for giving such a wonderful session and moderating this session in a very amazing way, because he has designed this question, and all my Sports Indie team and we all have designed in question in such a manner that yes, we try to reach and try to analyze the sports players and sports lovers, how they think for fitness and sports psychology. And yes, he has taken it in very smart and beautiful way, very lucid language. Very much congratulations to Bhavark for moderating this session in a wonderful way. I want to thank all my team, Shripad, who has taken good efforts, technical team, Shubham and Aditya, they had taken, and Madhuri for taking this, they are taking efforts since many days for making this session successful. And Mandar and Jitendra has done lot of work for this session. So equally each and everyone is important. Mandar has done very good efforts. But really, I must specifically take a name of Aditya and Shripad and Madhuri for making much more efforts for this session. So thank you, all of you, because of you people, your participants and your great response and feedback, this session has made successful. Thank you to all of you, and be connected with Sports Indie. We will like to bring more such good sessions for all of you. Thank you being with us today. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.